My name is Miguel Montes, and I'm the CEO of the Educational Pledge Partnership. Today I'm sitting with Dr. Kai Smith, Executive Director and Founder of the GRAAFICS program. And the reason why we're sitting here is because, Kai, you sent me this flyer which speaks to a Summer Without Violence Focus 2013. What can you tell me about this? I mean, I see a lot of names here. I see, we just experienced one of the most violent summers we've had in a long time. People getting killed left and right, violence between young people, adults, you name it. A lot of confusion. What's going to be different for summer 2013? And why are you getting involved in this?
That's a very good question. So the SWV Forum, Miguel, is a think tank. And what I'm trying to do, what I'm aiming to do is gather all of the senior administrators or program directors from every community-based organization in the most volatile communities in the city of New York. We're starting in Harlem. So what that means is every community-based organization in Harlem, every nonprofit organization, every 501c3 that's charged with the responsibility of providing a service to young adults. This is a call to action for those individuals to come to this forum to brainstorm on how we are going to approach the summer of 2013. So what that basically means is we're going to gather all of the data, all of the gun violence data from May 2012 from May 2012 to August or September 2012. And we're going to use that data to focus on how we can prevent the same number of violent incidences, the same number of shootings, the same number of stabbings, the same number of rapes, how we can concentrate on the summer of 2013 by using the data from the summer of 2012. Because one of the things that I've recognized, independent research leads me to believe, Miguel, that in the metropolitan area, crime, violence doesn't choose a new corner. The same corners in Harlem where kids have been getting shot, where murders have been taking place, where drugs have been being sold. These are the same exact corners that this has been going on for a number of years. So if we can take the data from 2012 and use it as a measuring tool to focus on what we're going to do for the summer of 2013, I think that we can get out ahead of this thing because the focus is to get out ahead of it. It's more proactive as opposed to reactive.
Why you? Why GRAAFICS?
That's a very good question, Miguel. Why me? I'm from the same streets that these kids are from. Anyone that has ever taken the opportunity to investigate this program, who I am, you go to the website, you read my profile, I am from the same streets that these kids are from. I was a shooter. I've shot people. I've stabbed people. I've been shot. I've been shot at. I've sold drugs. I have been in situations where I felt like I was down and out with nothing to do. I was that middle school kid fighting all the time, cutting class. I was that high school kid selling drugs with the weed and the sneakers and the guns and I am the kids that are so misunderstood today. That's who I was in the 70s and the 80s. So I directly understand where they're coming from. Why me? Because I've walked the walk, I've walked the talk, I understand where they're coming from. I am them, I was them, and I've made this successful transition so I can show them how to make the successful transition without imposing on who they believe they are. Young adults today they are so, I feel, like they are so misunderstood and they are so unreceptive to what we're trying to show them. They're so unreceptive because they feel as if we're trying to directly change who they are. And when you feel like someone is trying to, and you may not even yet have discovered who you are, but when you feel like someone is trying to change the little bit of you that you know about you, you have no choice but to get defensive. And when you get defensive, the first reaction to defense is to shut down. So why me? Because I've been there. Why GRAAFICS? Because this is the program that they're responding to.
How uniquely qualified is GRAAFICS? I've heard your story.
Right.
Sounds good.
Right.
Tell me about GRAAFICS.
Gang Diversion, Reentry, and Absent Fathers Intervention Center. It's uniquely different because GRAAFICS is probably the only program in the city that concentrates on a trilogy. When I started this program, senior administrators from other programs were like, Kai, you're crazy. Because reentry is a world in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Absentee fathering is a world in itself. Gang diversion is a universe in itself. So to take all three of those tremendously huge responsibilities and to compact them into one responsibility, and then to accept that responsibility in a city as large as New York, people were like, you're crazy. But in my mind, I was saying to myself, there is a disconnect, and GRAAFICS reconnects the disconnect with regards to the young adult population. A young adult that would be released from prison, if that young adult was in a gang in prison, coming home, that kid or that adult would have to go to one program for gang diversion services if they choose to try to get out of the gang. They would have to go to a totally different program for reentry services and a totally different program for fatherhood services. Exactly. I'm looking at your face and expressing unbelievable. So if you have,
as someone who is trying to overcome those obstacles, I would be frustrated just going to one place, let alone getting shoved to somewhere else and then a third place.
Exactly. So you're coming home, you have no job, you have no money, you have no resources. There's been a tremendous disconnect in your household because you've been gone so long. And now you're thinking about change because you're brand new into society. So now here is a parole officer or probation officer that doesn't trust you simply because you're an ex-offender. You're not trusted. So now you have the disconnect with your community, the disconnect with society as a whole. You have no employment, you have no money. There's your release papers from the New York State Division of Parole says seek, obtain, and maintain employment, stay away from drug zones, stay away from known criminals, and all this laundry. They release you to a drug zone, they release you to a house where there's felons living in the household. It's just too much going on. So GRAAFICS reconnects the disconnect because the first thing that we did before we sought to put ourselves on the map as a program was establish respect with the individuals on the ground. We went out into the communities to say, this is who we are, this is what we want to do. How do you think that we can best serve you?
When you say we, can you give me an example of who the we are?
So I have, right now, the biggest component of this program is day services. We are vendors in good standing with the New York City Department of Education. We provide intense behavior modification services to the New York City Department of Education inside of public schools, middle schools and high schools. We go into those schools, and with this curriculum, we go into those schools and we teach behavior modification to the most volatile, the most challenging kids in those schools. But before we get too far into GRAAFICS, let me go back to the SWV.
Well, understand, I mean, with GRAAFICS being the lead organization in all this, I see from your flyer that you invited a number of very distinct individuals who hold prominent positions throughout the city, working in gang violence, working with churches, the National Action Network, the Bronx Clergy Task Force, Snug in Harlem, Fathers Alive, In the Hood. So how does GRAAFICS bring all these people together? Or for that matter, what's bringing all of these people together to talk about?
I think that it would be safe for me to say that GRAAFICS is bringing these individuals together primarily because as a medium-sized community-based organization that's growing, those individuals that have confirmed to attend this think tank are the individuals that actively recognize that GRAAFICS is on the ground doing the same quality of work that they're doing. Fathers Alive in the Hood is a phenomenal organization. I know those brothers. The brother lost his daughter, you know, to gun violence. Those guys are on, you know, they're in the trenches. Those guys are on the ground. You know, the Snug organization. Those guys are on the ground. You know, James Broderick with the Center for Court Innovation in Brownsville. James is on the ground with this thing. So these people, as you look at this list, those individuals that have confirmed their attendance, these are not the Ivy Tower people. These are the individuals that are on the ground,
in the trenches,
in the neighborhoods. You know, they're doing, these guys are doing everything short of standing in front of a bullet. That's what I like to say. These are the people that are actively on the ground doing the work. So what the goal is for SWV, the goal is for each organization to come to the table with one specific thing that they do best. Come to the table with one thing, identify one thing that your program does absolutely best. We're not talking about what your organization would do if the mayor found $1 million to give you. We're not talking about what you would do if you got a grant from the federal government. You are actively a member of a community, you're doing work in the community, so you go to your team, find that one thing that you do that you have mastered.
The best practice.
Bring that one thing to the table. And 25 organizations, well, we have 26 confirmations, 25 organizations in the room, if they brought selflessly, if they gave selflessly of that one thing that they do absolutely best, all of those pieces would make one picture, and we would be able to provide effective services to every community that's experiencing gun violence.
How's the city helping you with this? Specifically, the New York Police Department, which is our frontline anti-violence group in New York City.
I don't want to bash anybody. I don't want to bash anybody. This is not anybody that's ever worked with me. I'm the most humblest person in the world. I don't want to bash anybody. I think that. I mean,
because they're doing a tremendous job.
Right. They're doing a tremendous job because they've gotten a reduction in violence, a reduction in homicides. So when you look at the homicide rates from the 90s, these guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I remember the 90s.
Yes, these guys are doing a phenomenal job. You know, the 80s, my era, my crack era, they're doing a phenomenal job. With regards to helping GRAAFICS, I think that if we were a little more established, I think that if we were more recognized, they would come in droves to help us. But under the auspice of evidence-based research, the SWV Forum, what we're doing in schools, the number of guns that we've been able to convince kids to take to the gun buyback program, these sorts of things will be quantified with the SWV Forum for the summer of 2013. So in addition to GRAAFICS, in addition to me being able to mobilize these people for this forum, it's also going to, as the kids say on the street, put GRAAFICS on the map as the #1 contender. And all my kids, you go to my school, we'll say, I don't know who the champion is, but I know who the #1 contender is. So whatever nonprofit organization is the champion, be it, and anybody that knows me know I'm straight across the board. If Feds is #1, if the Doe Fund is #1, if Arbor is #1, if Goodwill is #1, if I don't know who's #1 for providing services, Whoever's number one, look out, because we're the number one contenders. We're coming for the championship. And the championship, we aim to be the single largest program in the city of New York that provides the absolute best quality services to disadvantaged youth. It's one thing to say we're the biggest, we serve the most. It's a totally different animal to say we have managed to become the largest and we have the best quality service. That the individuals that come through our program get the best quality jobs. The individuals that come through this program stay home from prison the longest. We've gotten the most people out of gangs. It's a totally different animal to go to drive towards quality. So that's what the SWV Forum is about.
Kai, in my 27 years of professional experience, I've sat on a couple of round tables. People come with huge intentions, lofty goals. I see that you had this one meeting planned. What's going to make this round table different from every other round table we had this summer and are having with respect to, you're meeting once. I don't assume that's the plan. I assume you're going to continue to meet. But what are you looking to get from this initial gathering? Because you want these people to come back.
Exactly.
How are you going to get them to come back? How are you going to get them to really invest their time, energy, and resources to a summer without violence? What's in it for them?
I'm the fact that they're community-based organizations and they're charged with the responsibility of serving the community. They're charged with the responsibility of serving disadvantaged youth in their immediate, and I don't want to say catchment area, but in the city that they've been licensed to serve. They've been given the authority to serve as community-based organizations. It's that, and
so you're looking to hold people to task.
We're going to hold each other accountable. See, people are not going to come in to guarantee the bulk of their services, the bulk of their organization.
You ask for one unique, special thing they do that sets them aside.
So if you know that you are the master, let's say, religious institutions. If you say, I know for a fact I master mobilizing people, then you will be held accountable for mobilizing individuals whenever we need for something to occur. If you say, you can come to the table and you can say, the only thing that I have to offer, I can give you a room free of charge for 3 hours a night, 2 evenings a week. That's all I have to offer. Guess what? We have programs that don't mind providing absolutely free fatherhood services. We can see it's a number of things that we can do when we put the pieces together. I'll give you a prime example. We are here. We have a phenomenal partnership with Catholic Charities. The GRAAFICS program has a phenomenal relationship with Catholic Charities. We don't have a brick and mortar. Catholic Charities stepped up to the plate. When no one else would step up to the plate, Catholic Charities stepped up and said, we will give you free space, absolutely free, 1 evening a week for 4 hours. Give us an agenda. You do what you want to do. Bring the community in, service the community. If you find people that want to be served, whatever. We can't give you any money, but that's the least we can do. And we've been able to take that and put together this program.
Can you talk about stepping up to the plate? Why aren't people stepping up to the plate for GRAAFICS?
And again, I don't want to bash anybody, but I think that if I had to, if I had to put, if I had to categorize it, I would say, I think that we're just young. When I look back to where we were 2 years ago, as opposed to where we are now, more people know about this program than they do about quite a few other programs that are supposed to be universally recognized. If you went to Brownsville and you took one of our flyers, GRAAFICS is a household name in Brownsville. The Brownsville Youth Court, we helped establish the Brownsville Youth Court. James Brodick with the Brownsville Community Justice Center. We partnered with them. Brownsville Partnership, we've partnered with them. We took BET to Brownsville. So if you go, you here in Harlem, if you go to South Bronx, anywhere up and down Webster Avenue, any of those schools, we are a household name. But we just haven't had, it could be funding, it could be any number of variables, but I do know that by the close of the SWV Forum, and the SWV Forum is going to close in May, we will be universally recognized. And you spoke on one thing before we get out of here. You spoke on one thing because I know we're pressed for time. SWV is not going to be one forum. SWV this is the main forum, and senior administrators are coming from all over the city. We have individuals coming from the Brooklyn DA's office, from the Manhattan DA's office, from the Queens DA's office, community-based organizations from Long Island are coming, community-based organizations from Staten Island are coming. The goal is to see the foundation, and then each prospective organization from each prospective community is going to leave this forum to go back to their prospective neighborhoods to erect an SWV committee in their community to focus on the violence that's going on in their community. So it's going to be a once-a-month meeting with the senior administrators, and then each senior administrator is going to be charged with the responsibility of going back to their community to mobilize case managers and social workers and volunteers and interns and all of those people in their prospective community to address the violence going on in their community for the summer of 2013.
So SWV, Summer Without Violence, as you continue to name it, of all the people you've invited who have not responded, who is the one person you want to have here that you think might be able to make a difference?
That's a wow, man. You backed me in the corner with that one.
Well, I mean, because there are people that want to affect change.
I'll tell you what. The best way to answer that question is this, and I know we press for time. Anyone that knows me knows that I am about results. I am a results-oriented. I am so about results. I want the end product. I don't care about anything in between, the bottom line. What I'm hoping to do.
So forgive me, you're not looking to have, let's identify the problem.
No.
We know the problem.
No.
We know the issues.
Let me just say that for the record. Anybody coming to this SWV forum to whine about the problem, I am going to have them escorted out.
Because we know the problem.
We already know the problem.
The data will show us where it's happening.
We want to know where it's happening. We want to know where it's happening. We don't care why it happened. We want to know where it's happening, who did it, not who, name it. Was it a male, was it a female?
Was it
gender?
Was it
gang-related? So that we know how to address the situations for the summer of 2013. I'll give you a prime example. We're here in Harlem. A few blocks away from here, a gentleman was shot and killed on a corner. It may have been Memorial Day. Exactly 1 year later to the date, Memorial Day, his son got shot and killed on the same corner. So we can go on with this, man, but I just wanted to get down for the record what the SWV Forum was about. Anyone that comes to this forum to whine about the problem, who am I to have a person escorted out? I may not be no one now. I may not be anyone now. But trust and believe, the #1 contenders, we're coming. Because I'm not happy with the results that I'm seeing in communities with regards to stopping gun violence. It seems to me as if it's more about the paycheck as opposed to the product. Individuals, you have nonprofit organizations that are closing at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kids are getting shot at 11, 12 o'clock at night. We need to just relook. We need to reevaluate this whole thing.
Kai, we've had personal conversations before. I know your story. I understand and I recognize the huge undertaking you established when you, or you accepted when you created GRAAFICS. I know the challenge, I know some of the challenges that you face today. What inspires you every morning to get up, to go into these streets, to help some of the most disenfranchised young people believe that there's a life without drugs and the money that drugs brings? That there's a life without crime when crime is all they know? When they can step away from a gang, when a gang is the only family that recognizes them today. And you know that because you lived that. How are you inspired every day? And the very few Kais in the world, the very few who will go to jail and spend 16 years and turn their lives around and then come back and use that influence to help others. What's driving you?
That's a very good question. I lost my brother to gun violence. My brother Kwana is the reason why I started the program, but that's a totally different talk show. And realistically, when I wake up in the morning, I look at New York 1, I get a text message from Reverend Vernon Williams, Pastor Vernon Williams, who's grown to be a very good friend of mine. Every time a kid is shot in the city of New York, I get a text message. My phone goes off 3-4 times a night with the violence that's going on in the 5 boroughs. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm seeing kids that are getting shot, kids that are shooting. I know why I had a gun in my hand when I was 16 years old. If you have never had a gun in your hand at the age of 16, 17, 18, in the streets of New York, as the kids say, get it how you live, if you've never experienced that, and I don't want to talk out of turn or prematurely, but you can't address it. I love Ivy League institutions, but you can't bring your Ivy League.
The book knowledge is not going to make a difference.
Do it. I know why. I had a .357 at the age of 16, and I wanted to shoot it, and when I saw the movie, I wanted to see how it felt to shoot somebody. Now, I know that firsthand. I know it firsthand. So I can talk to a kid, and I can say, I know what's going through you. That guy disrespected you. I know what's going through you. And I can show him another way.
That reminds me of the conversation you were having with that young girl after one of the anti-violence rallies that we participated in this summer, where this young girl came to you and said, this is the only life I know. My brothers are gangbangers. I just want to shoot a gun. I want to have the feeling of shooting a gun. And I remember one of the gangbangers you brought to the event stating, channel that energy in a different way. Get a gun permit. Go to a range. Get your rocks off shooting a gun. Do it there where you can do it legally and get that experience and feel it. Don't do it in the streets. I remember that, and I remember you didn't ask her to come to you. She just walked up and said, I need help.
And that's what most people do, Miguel, because, you know, my life, the life of the people that support the program, GRAAFICS is 110% transparent. Transparent. There is no gray area. There is no cooking the books. There is no, you know, we love when people make donations. People make donations, and I say it to people, yes, we need funds, but if you don't want to trust a small nonprofit organization, go to Staples, buy a couple of toner cartridges, I'll go pick it up. Go buy a box of paper, I'll go pick it up. Go buy my kids a laptop, I'll go pick it up.
So no donation will be turned away. Regardless, there's always someone in need that you can help based on the donations that can come in.
One of my kids, yeah.
Do you have a list of things on your website that people may be able to donate? that specifically there's a need right now for?
Anything under the auspices of education that you think that a middle school kid can use, we can use. And I don't even want to
How
say
many
that.
kids do you service today?
Whew. We are probably somewhere up around, so it's usually 20 kids per school, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, maybe about close to 500 kids that we serve.
500 kids get a weekly dose of graphics. And who's doing this work in the schools?
My trainers, you know, I hire individuals, and anybody that knows me know I'm very ex-offender friendly. I hire from the ex-offender pool. I think that those guys are the ones that can convince the shooters, and the guys that want to shoot, you know, they can convince them not to shoot. And that's what this whole thing is about. This whole SWV forum. You know, we're gonna strategize. We're gonna put some things on the table that some organizations have never heard of before, that they've never seen before, and it's okay. And that's part of the reason why I'm asking these individuals to come with one piece. I don't want you to come with your whole program, because if you come with your whole program and you hear something new, your HR department is gonna, oh, we may not be able to do that because I don't want to open us up for liability. One thing.
So this is by invitation only, or is this going to be an open
Invitation.
forum? So if individuals want to sit at this table, they should communicate with you.
Yes, you can communicate with my HR department, hr@graafics.org. It's hr@graafics.org. Send an email to my HR department, and they will put you on the list. But
you're not looking to,
because this is next Tuesday.
but you're not looking to fill an auditorium. The people who attend this have to come with something that they're prepared to deliver, to contribute, to make a difference, so we can have a Summer Without Violence 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've heard it here. Dr. Kai Smith is gathering on October 23rd. Tuesday, October 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Kennedy Center, 34 West 135th Street. Don't come knocking on the door that day, because you're not going to be let in unless you have an invitation. And the way to find that would be to come to the GRAAFICS website, which is hr@graafics, GRAAFICS.org. Send an email there. Particularly stating your intention and why you feel you need to be a part of this gathering, this town hall roundtable discussion on the Summer Without Violence. Kai, I want to personally thank you for taking on this cause. I believe that the work that, the testimony that you've given here today, you opened up your book and showed us every little detail of who you are and why you're doing this. I strongly believe in what you're doing. I've been helping young people go to college for the past 27 years, and I've seen it all, from the 95 average to the 65 average kid. I know education is a huge component of your program, and I know that one of the outcomes that you're looking to achieve is to ensure that young people transition from middle school to high school to college and become independent professionals that can survive in the society without having to turn to violence or crime. I commend you for that. I commend all of the people that have been signed up so far to participate in this. If you have any questions, or if there's anything you want to contribute to help make this happen, please reach out to Kai and the GRAAFICS program. And at this time, I just want to say that we look forward to all of the great things that your think tank group is going to pull together. And we look forward to 2013 to be a Summer Without Violence. Thank you.
Thank you.